Hey there, friends! Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library, and you may have noticed that I have a brand new dragon friend with me. That's right, this is Shenanigans, who actually just recently hatched from an egg that I got when I was on a recent trip to Zanzibar. I met up with my local dragon trader. He gave me a couple of eggs. So Shenanigans is not the only new dragon that you're going to be meeting soon. Keep an eye on the next couple of videos for the other new dragon that also hatched. But she is very excited to be with us here today because we're going to be talking about a book that is really incredibly magical. It's full of whimsy, it's full of adventure, it's full of danger, it's full of magic, it's filled with amazing creatures. But most importantly of all, it's filled with heart, which is my favorite kind of story at all. So the book I want to talk to you about today is called The Poisoned King. And this is by Katherine Rundell, The Poisoned King. So take a look at this cover, which you can just already tell just by looking at it, that it is going to be such a magical adventure. Now, this is actually the second book in a series. The first book in this series is a book that I've talked about before, which is called Impossible Creatures. And this was my favorite middle grade / young adult book that came out when it came out last year. This book means so much to me. It is so incredibly beautiful and amazing. And I could talk about it all day long. So I was really excited when the second book in the series came out. Now, this actually just came out a couple weeks ago, so it is a brand new book. And the first thing I want to say about it, actually, is that you really don't have to have read the first one to enjoy this one. I think it gives you more enjoyment if you've read the first one first. If you've read Impossible Creatures first, you're going to get the deeper stories with some of the characters and stuff like that. But this also really, I think, stands on its own as its own solid standalone story as well. If you love magic and creatures and fantasy and adventure and danger, then you will love this even if you haven't read the first one. But honestly, if you love all those things, you should probably read the first one too. So what is The Poisoned King about? The Poisoned King starts with the archipelago, which is the setting of this world, which is basically a series of magical islands. Look at this map. Look at this map. Isn't it the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? Guys, you know me, and you know how I feel about a good map. It is gorgeous. Anyway, the archipelago is in danger. There is a poison that has been going around that is actually poisoning and killing a lot of the dragons that live there. Ooh. It's okay, Shenanigans. You don't live on the archipelago, so I think you'll be okay. So enter our heroes. So first we have Christopher, who we did meet in the last book. He wakes up in regular England where he lives by this tiny little dragon named Jacques, who is telling him he has to get back to the archipelago because there is something dangerous going on with the poison and the world needs his help. Christopher could not be more excited. He has been thinking about the archipelago and all these creatures that he loves ever since he was there before. So him and Jacques go back. They figure out that these dragons are being poisoned, and they enlist the help of a sphinx, which you can see right here in the background. So cue to our other main character, who is a princess, and she is actually just been banished from the castle from her uncle because the king has been murdered and her father has been blamed for it. But she knows that's not the case. She knows her dad would never ever do anything like that. So as she's banished from the castle and danger stalks her every step, she ends up teaming up with Christopher, and they are both trying to solve the mysteries of each other's lives, basically. What is going on in the bigger story of the archipelago, but also what is going on with her family, and why the king was poisoned, and why is her dad being blamed, and all the politics and stuff of what's going on with that. And of course, their stories merge together. They have to help each other. They have to learn to get along to save all the islands. So what do I love so much about this book? You might say, well, this sounds like just a standard fantasy book, right? It's got magic, it's got creatures, it's got heroes, whatever. The thing that I love about this series in particular, and this book was just as much like it as the first book, is it, like I said in the beginning, it has so much heart. These characters go through it. This is not a series that you feel like, oh, I don't have to worry about these characters, they're going to be fine. No. If you've read the first book, you know that heartbreak is definitely very prevalent in these books. Bad things happen to these characters. Sad, awful things happen to these characters. But it is the way that they react to these situations, the way that they grow and learn from these situations and become bigger, metaphorically, right? Figuratively speaking, they become bigger than what they were before. And that is where this story really shines. It's about coming up against obstacles. It's about meeting your true self inside and finding out who you want to be. When faced with terrible things, do you want to harden your heart and be just as bad to try to survive? Or do you want to survive by being kind and being good? And that is what these books are all about. And I love, love, love them so much. So like I said, I think you could definitely read this as a standalone if you wanted to give it a shot and see what it's all about. But I also really, really highly recommend that you pick up Impossible Creatures too, especially since if you haven't read it yet, you don't know anything about this series, now the second book is out, so you can read them both back to back if you want. Or just give The Poisoned King a shot. I really loved it. Sometimes second books in series can be a little bit of a letdown or disappointing. This was not the case. This not only solidified my love for this series, but it made it grow even more. So give these books a shot today, especially The Poisoned King by Katherine Rundell. It is absolutely phenomenal. Well, that's what we've got for you guys today. I really hope you want to give this series a shot if you haven't already. Like I said, the second book has just come out. It is available at Farmington Community Library, so if you want to read it and see what it's all about, please feel free to come in and put it on hold. And thank you so, so very much for watching, my friends, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.